Most professional riders they have to get good at working with a lot of different horses. It's almost like speed dating. But if you really want to go to the top, especially in the sports that I do, like show jumping and dressage and 3-day eventing, it becomes much more and more important to have a good relationship with a horse and to know them really well. And almost in a way that's even more important for them to know you really well. You want to know what their reactions are going to be, but you also want them to know what your reactions are going to be. The Road to the Horse, the World Championships of Colt Starting, is a competition that takes place every March in Kentucky at the Kentucky Horse Park, and it's where something that specializes in colt starting. It used to be called horse breaking, but now it's more commonly called colt starting, where they have 3 days to start a horse that has never been handled before. So these are almost like wild horses, and you have to be able to, after 3 days, catch them, touch them, handle them, things like brush them or pick up their feet, get a saddle on them, and ride them. And not only ride them, but be able to walk, trot, and canter and go through a sort of a simple obstacle course. Most of what we see in the horse world, like you mentioned, the Kentucky Derby earlier, or what we see on TV at the Olympics with show jumping or dressage or eventing, most of those sports that we see are the finished product. All the training that happens of that horse happens at home or on the track or behind the barn or in an arena. And then what we see on television is that final finished product. But actually, one of the most important moments in a horse's life is those first few days and those first few weeks of interacting with a person. Uh, there's great quotes about how the most important part of a person's life is kindergarten, because it's where we learn about relationships, we learn to learn, we learn about trust and respect. Play sort of starts to get turned into educational moments. And it's the same with a horse. The first few days, first few weeks of a horse's life, and the horse's life with people are extremely important. And I was lucky enough to be invited to this competition. It's by invitation only. I'd tried for 10 years to get invited, and I finally got invited. And I just knew that it was going to be a big ask in my life, a big learning moment for me. I knew I was going to learn a lot in the preparation. There were a lot of fears I had to overcome, both fears of whether I was good enough to do this, fears of whether I was going to get hurt, fears of what this looks like on to other people and to social media. Every single part of this horse starting process is in front of 10,000 people that are watching you live, with 5 judges judging you, a clock counting down, and $130,000 prize money on the line. So there's a huge amount of pressure that you feel, more pressure than I've ever felt before in my life. And I just want to take notes on that and allow me to learn from it and reflect on it afterwards. And so that's what we did. I knew it was going to be a big uh it was going to be tough for me to overcome the emotional doubts that I had, both doubts I had with myself and doubts that other people had, as well as the fears that I had. And part of my preparation was speaking with both people that had done this before and people sort of like life coaches or therapists or people like sort of would be able to help me navigate what that journey was going to be like emotionally. And my wife as well, Sinead, she was one of the people that really helped, sit down at the end of the day after I'd been, after I was done all the physical preparation that day and sort of talk about what I was going through. Two of the big takeaways that I had were the concept of high involvement, low attachment. And what that means is being really committed and really involved in the process and the preparation, but not having a high amount of attachment to achieving the goal at the end. Another way of saying that is we're being process oriented rather than goal oriented. Another way of saying that is maybe even simpler, which is enjoy the journey. It's not just about the destination. And so I really tried to not just understand that mentally, but I really tried to take that to heart, that concept of high involvement, low attachment. And then the other big takeaway for me was when I spoke with Natalie Hummel, and I was investigating the concept of when people say, the horse likes something, or the horse loves something, or the horse trusts you, or the horse respects you, what do these words mean? And I was trying to come up with a definition for the word love. And her definition that she gave me is very simple. It's that love is being present. And it doesn't mean you're trying to solve all the problems or that it always ends up well. It could be difficult, there could be adversity, there could be grief, but it's being totally present. And in the 4 hours that I spent with this horse over 3 days in Kentucky, that was probably my single biggest goal, was to be totally present there with this horse. And if I lost, I didn't want it to be because I got distracted or I was thinking in the future, or I was thinking about the past. I wanted to be right there with him the whole time.